And I think that's what it is for self-directed investing, is they find that one thing that they can make money on, and they use a tax advantage account. It's not about 100 things. Don't get, we talked about a lot of different investments. We had precious metals up on the last panel, crypto, oil and gas. It's only one. You only need to get one of those right. And those are the people that I think have found the most success, is the ones that find that one thing, they get after it, they just keep doing that over and over.
Because when you're building a business and you've got to live on that business and you have a little bit of success and you're so excited you'd go in and quit, and I'm not saying you would do this, but you'd go maybe get excited and go quit your job. Now you're fully dependent on this business being successful. And the decision making on how that business grows are going to be based on how I pay my rent next month or not. And then you may undermine the benefit, the possibility of that business growing and flourishing. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Directed IRA podcast, live from the Directed IRA Summit, hosted by the one and only Matt Sorensen. If you're watching on video, hello.
Hello. Yeah.
I was able to do a wardrobe change. Matt was not, so.
Yeah, Mark's rocking the cowboy hat? Yeah. Cowboy hat.
That's what you call it.
That's what you call it, cowboy hat. Yeah. Now, do you have a case for your cowboy hat?
This is kind of wearing it in the 50s, and this is kind of wearing it, in the thousands.
Okay. Yeah, you're married.
More a little Brad Paisley here.
Okay.
Run that down. Okay, anyway, but it's been a great conference, Matt. Good job. And thank you to your amazing team. We didn't thank them enough. We got Aaron and Lindsay, just everybody.
Yes, thank you so much. Well, Lindsay is really the main force on this. She was on with the virtual people, so you guys got the benefit of her. Let's give a round of applause for Lindsay Marcino. She's awesome. So many of you had the fortune to work with her. She was who I used to send my IRA accounts to, when we didn't have our own company. So she's on our team now and does a tremendous job. Okay. We have a live audience, guys. So if you're catching this, obviously, on the video or on the podcast, we do have a live audience here. Mark and I are going to give some quick takeaways, what we thought about today. And then we're going to take live open forum questions from the audience here. And we will not send you a bill or anything like this. This is off the clock.
There we go.
Okay. Do you want to get a quick takeaway?
Yeah. So my first takeaway is something I learned after my presentation. My amazing Main Street Tax Pro team always comes up to me in private and says, "Yeah, you were wrong, Mark." And I'm like, "Thank you." So, it is really, I said this to someone else when I walked in, a couple over here. I said, I learned something every time I come to this conference. And holy crap, I didn't write the book on this, Matt did, but, but I do learn something every time. So anyway, Mandy brought it up to me that there is a rule for kids between 22 and 25 that are on their parents' health plan and the HSA. So someone came up after and asked about this too. So if you're listening, and obviously we're not here at the conference, let me just give you the fact pattern. Parents are allowed to keep their children on their healthcare plan until the child turns age 26. Then the child is kicked off and they've got to go get their own plan. Another way the government helps us, launch children. Anyway, okay, so say that as a loving
failure
parent.
to launch. Yeah.
Okay, so the question was earlier today, can a child open their own health savings account if they're on their parents' high deductible plan? My answer was no, because it is not the child's plan. There is actually a loophole or a sub-rule to this that Mandy Clark of Bodner and Clark here in the Texas area, very specialist CPAs, she said there's actually a rule that if your child is between age 22 and 25 and on your high deductible plan, and the parent maxes out the family contribution, and the child is not a dependent, but still on the plan. Okay. Now, your child is a dependent of yours on your tax return if they're still a full-time college student and you provide for more than half of their living expenses. Then you can claim them as a dependent on your tax return. But if they are no longer in college and you're not covering half of their living expenses, and their age is 22 to 25, they can open their own health savings account. Now, some of you may think that's not a big deal. But this is the age where most kids between 22, 25 in the upcoming years may be in childbearing ages. They may get married, have a child. They are now putting away tax deductible dollars they can pull out tax-free for when they have their first child. So you're really helping fund grandkid expenses, parents. And those kids might blow out a knee. They might have an injury. They might have any sort of medical expense, dental, eyes, anything on IRS publication 502. So these kids, they think, well, I'll never see that money. I'm putting it in a health savings account. They get a tax deduction on the front page of their tax return, and they can pull that money out immediately for any medical expense. And again, having their own children in the next 5 to 10 years. So I think it's a great tax strategy, and they can invest it with you in your multi-member LLC to buy real estate or invest in a syndication. So you may even help your child fund their HSA to become a partner with you to get the capital you need for a deal, and it's going to circularly come back tax-free to cover your first grandchild. Boom.
Love that.
Kind of unique.
Yeah, that was cool. We did a little cleanup there, batted a little cleanup.
Yeah.
Got a big tip out there for everyone. We love loopholes. Yes. I mean, what good is a tax lawyer or tax advisor if you can't come up with a good old loophole?
Anyway.
You know? Well, I don't have anything.
See, that was for you. Boom, there you are. He asked that question after. So I don't know if that helped at all. Okay, all right.
I liked it. I liked it. Like, you know.
He's paying was it $20 a kid to have them on your plan? 3 kids, $60 a month, right? Kind of, $36 a month per child. Wow.
You want to repeat that for the podcast?
I can barely hear him. But it's dirt cheap.
Yeah.
To keep kids on a plan than what you're paying, but it's through your employer. So that's really cool. So he's got a really good plan.
Yeah.
But it's high deductible. Now he can help those kids. So I like it. So thank Mandy. She's right here. She can take Venmo, Zelle.
It's definitely worth at least $36.
Yeah.
You know, 1 month for that premium. Well, here's my takeaway, and maybe this is, Mark Kohler going all cowboy on us here. And I'm thinking of the movie City Slickers. Okay?
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking of the movie City Slickers because, I showed Moneyball earlier. I got a little investing takeaway. There's a good takeaway in City Slickers too, right?
I want to hear it.
Because, what is there's the question in that is like, what's the purpose of life, And they're out there, and I forgot his name. Curly.
Curly says one thing.
It's one thing. But the answer is you got to find what that one thing is. Yeah. Okay.
Billy Crystal's like, what is it?
Yeah, what is it? He's like, that's it. You got to find what that one thing is. And once you find that, you're good. And I think that's what it is for self-directed investing. Is I think of the people that have had success, that end up falling in love with it, is they find that one thing that they can make money on, and they use a tax advantage account to do it and keep it all. Do it in a way where it compounds more quickly over time. We talked about that through the day. It's not about 100 things. Don't get, we talked about a lot of different investments. We had precious metals up on the last panel, crypto, oil and gas, private money real estate investing. We had the different assets and different real estate classes that you can invest in, distress notes, multifamily, private lending. I mean, we talked about it all throughout the day. It's only one. You only need to get one of those right. And those are the people that I think have found the most success, is the ones that find that one thing, they get after it, they just keep doing that over and over. That's a John Shikarchi thing, okay? The same thing. You guys have heard from him. One thing over and over and over again. And I think some of the people here that have big accounts, they are not going out into everything that we talked about here. They stick to one thing. Yeah. So find that one thing for you. It's different for all of us. For what you like, what your expertise already is, where you may have a competitive advantage, friends, network, connections, personal experience, and then that's where I think you should deploy your capital.
Okay, so we're going to need questions. So whoever would like to just come up and ask a question. By the way, 90% of our viewers / listeners of our podcast are on iTunes and Spotify. So no one does have to see you on video. I know if you're anything like the women in my life, you do not want to be on camera to ask your question. So if you want to kind of stand to the side, whatever. But here's the one thing I want to say too, is that Matt said the one thing you were good at, and then he added at the very end, something you like. And I want to say that. And I could even put the point you understand, which is a Warren Buffett concept. Don't invest in something you don't understand. But I like the one where you invest in what you like. Because if you like doing it, you're going to get up and do it. And what Matt knows about me, what I like and he likes when it comes to investing are totally different.
I'm not doing stuff he does.
Yeah, I'm not doing stuff he does. And two things that I love to invest in are short-term rentals that require a little elbow grease. Now, that's not going to work in my retirement account because that'd be prohibited. But if I hire even subs to come in, that's okay. I love short-term rentals. I like the design of it. I like the gamify on Airbnb, playing with the pricing schedule once a week for 5 minutes. I get into that. It's kind of fun. It's like my video game is Airbnb and Price Labs and Hospitable, if you guys are into that. The other thing I like is this ranching. Maybe it's the onset of Kevin Costner and Yellowstone. But I was buying cows a few years ago in my HSA before Yellowstone. But I get into that. I enjoy it. And so I'm gonna try to be successful at it more because I enjoy it. So I think discovering what you're good at, enjoying what you enjoy, doing what you enjoy, and there's understanding it.
Yeah, I think there's the third component of it, and this is from the book Good to Great, by the way. There's what should you focus your life or your business on? And I think this goes for investing too. What are you good at? What do you like doing? And what makes money? Yeah. All right. That's kind of important, right? That last piece.
I kind of usually add what's legal, but that's another point.
Yeah, that goes without saying. Yeah, the illegal options, those are just not on the table to begin with. Yeah. All right, we got
at least legal in a few states.
All right, we got some questions here. Let's get your name, your first name only. We can keep this, a little attorney-client privilege if you want. This a joke, and then maybe the city you're from.
My name's Ben. I'm from Mullica Hill, New Jersey, South Jersey, outside of Philadelphia. I have a question about something that was brought up in the panel today earlier, discounted Roth conversion. I just recently completed my first investment with the accounts I opened this year and looking to do a Roth conversion. Okay. And I was wondering if in your network there's a resource to do it and what to look for, or if you have a recommendation.
Yes. Okay, great question. I would say this is an advanced strategy. Okay, let me say that first.
And can I ask, what's the investment?
What's the asset you would be looking to discount? They gave oil and gas as the example on the panel, which is easy because they have the appraiser that does it for you, right? They have the appraiser that can set it. So that's what you're going to need. That's going to be my answer. But yeah, what's the asset?
It's a medical device company.
Medical what?
Medical device.
Medical device company. So your IRA traditional account has invested in a medical device company. What's your background? I'm just curious.
I'm a lineman for electric utility.
Okay, all right, okay. So you're like oil and gas, kind of. No, electrical. Okay, all right. I was thinking lineman, I think like, I get to landman super quick. Okay. All right. I just asked medical device because a lot of people in the medical space seem to invest in medical stuff, so I was just curious.
What's the ownership percent? Is it a syndication? Is it closely held? I know you've got to be fairly private, I get it, but that's going to help in the, by the way, you don't need to answer. I think that plays out in the valuation. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so here's the analysis. So, let's say you want to convert it to Roth with us. Let's say you bought your shares in that medical device company for $100,000. Okay, just for easy example. And you're like, well, I think I could get a valuation that puts it at $70,000. I just paid $100,000 for it, but I can get a valuation that sets at 70. Well, you guys convert it at 70. Yes, but I need someone to give me that value. And that's for you, not for me. If you get audited, that's your problem, not mine. But we need to have records and documentation to do a conversion. We need a set of value. Like our auditors and our process would not be cool if we converted an asset that you just bought for $100K unless I had documentation of value saying something different. So you need an appraiser to set that. Now, when they were talking about oil and gas earlier, they have someone that appraises their oil and gas stuff all the time for bank and financing purposes. So they have that person that will do that discounts the value. In this scenario, you need a business valuation person. So there are people that have a business valuation credential. It's called a CVA is one of them, Certified Valuation Analyst or something like that. There's a few different credentials out there. One of the attorneys in our office, Mark Fetzer, used to do that, or he would value businesses. He doesn't now, but so you need someone that can set that. So you can't have just the company do it. You need a third-party professional that has some credential. It could be a CPA or someone, again, if they have that expertise and that experience, that could set it. And then we will convert it, and you get the benefit of converting at a lower value, and hopefully those shares are much more valuable. You could sell it out of the Roth tax-free. I love the idea and concept. You just got to solve for the valuation piece.
Yeah, and also, have you ever had any rejected or any problems with?
Yes, and we've seen them. We've rejected some of them if the valuation is bullshit. So it needs to be done right. You know what I mean? And so there is, I think it's 59-60. There is it's an old revenue ruling that the IRS has on business valuations of that gets into the amount of discounting you can take and stuff like that. So it needs to just be someone that understands the parameters of how much they can discount it and is doing it by the IRS rules. Discounting is very popular in other portions of the tax code. It's relatively new for Roth conversion purposes here, so you're kind of a pioneer. I think it's okay. I'm just saying you need some professional to do that for you for your own sake.
If I could add two perspectives. One is when you say, have you ever seen one getting rejected? He's the one that rejects them. So the cool part is it's an internal thing in a sense. Nothing's getting sent to the IRS. It's Matt and Directed IRA and our leadership team is trying to look out for you. We're trying to just be careful ourselves. So it's going to be collaborative too. If you want to call up and go, hey, I'm getting this valuation, would this work? Would that be okay? So I think you could, be a little proactive in trying to make sure you present it to Directed IRA in the proper way so that it's legit and you're not wasting your time.
You need a business valuation analyst type person. So they're out there. If you
licensed,
Google,
someone licensed.
There's a credential for it. Some CPAs have it. Some people are just other professionals that get that and get in that line of work.
Now, the second point I'd make, and this is for everybody out there because I've done this, is in this situation, you're trying, or we're talking in hypotheticals here. You may have someone out there, you may have spent X dollars to make an investment, and now you're trying to show that it's worth less than what you invested. Okay, to me, that's option A. Option B is, which I've done, is you're maybe making an investment and you already know, holy crap, it's worth more. So you already know that there's no way you could get it appraised lower, but it's also maybe private knowledge that it's worth more. And so what in the industry and what's legit is getting that Roth conversion done at your investment value as soon as possible. I call that kind of a discounted conversion because I already know inside knowledge. And by the way, what did Martha Stewart go to jail? Insider trading only applies to publicly traded companies. So if
she actually went to jail for obstruction of justice. They didn't get her on insider trading. It was obstruction of justice.
She was pissy with the... By the way, I saw her on stage in Vegas 3 weeks ago. Damn, she looked good. She was 85 years old, and I was like...
She's 85?
She's in her 80s.
Wow, okay.
And she looked freaking amazing. She gets work done every year. Anyway, she moved really slow. She was wearing flats on stage, ladies, and she was moving slow. But from here up, her plastic surgeon, he was working it. Okay, so anyway...
It's good to know.
That's out for you, Martha. We love you. But the point is, there's no rule on insider trading when it's a privately held company. So if you know if something's worth more and your investment's doing well, don't go home and go, yay, my IRA's worth more. No, you should be saying, holy crap, I've got to get that converted to a Roth as soon as possible. Because it could be worth double and you know it. Holy crap, get the conversion done now. Even if you're on a payment plan with the IRS. Being on a payment plan with the IRS is not bad. I've been on a payment plan with the IRS. Do the conversion and freaking find a way to pay that tax as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And that to me is a discounted strategy, even though you're not going and getting an evaluation.
But you're thinking about it right? Because we want to convert to Roth, any traditional dollars we have. We want the tax-free growth. We want that benefit on the future. But you pay the price to convert. And the most we can, The more that we can minimize that price we got to pay to convert, the better. So the discounting strategies are cool. You just need the valuation. The other thing to think about is we had a lot of people converting their brokerage accounts. Like people that have been in the market, the market went down 20% almost on S&P 500. That's the time you convert. Okay, I shot a video on that about like what are strategies you should be thinking about. Convert when the market goes down. I remember in 2010, 2011, our smart, sophisticated clients were calling up that had real estate in their retirement account, and they're like, I'm converting. I'm converting now. Because also they had losses on their personal real estate stuff. Not only were they converting at a lower value, but they had losses over here in their personal real estate business, because that's where they invest personally, that were offsetting the conversion. So sometimes you got to think about being strategic when bad things happen, like a value change where you can convert at a lower value for the future upside.
If there wasn't a bunch of line, we keep talking because I've got another strategy. Thank you, sir. Great
Thank you.
question.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate everything you guys did.
All right.
All right, who's next? Let's get your name again and the city you're from.
Jackie, I live in Dallas.
All right.
And I'm a brand new real estate investor. I'm so new I haven't done anything yet. Marketing, I'm working on it. I'm going to.
Awesome.
I wanted an LLC to make that first deal with. But I've been advised to use a Wyoming LLC.
Ooh, great question.
For buy and holds, Texas for actives, for asset protection and anonymity, the Wyoming.
Okay, well, I want to ask you a question.
I have not heard the word Wyoming today, so that's why I'm asking.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I want to ask you. You saw the trifecta presentation.
I did.
Okay, so tell me your gut. Try to answer your own. I want to, if you don't mind, someone said Wyoming after listening today, and Matt and I both commented on this a little bit. You're probably looking for some final solid advice, right? Mm-hmm. What's your gut? And it's, if you're like Mark, I don't know. It's cool.
If you're like, why the hell do you think I came up here to ask the question? Because I didn't.
But I
know,
want to
you
be like,
dumbass.
what are you thinking? A lot of times we need verification that I'm not crazy. Like, what are you thinking?
The first slide was okay. It was mostly blank.
Okay.
The next one had a few more
All right.
things.
I'll
Maybe
ask you.
put the
You
third
blew her
one,
brains,
and
Mark.
I blew her brains. All right.
My brain was instantly fried, and I haven't come back to life yet.
So you live here in Dallas, and you're looking for your first real estate deal, is what you said. Where do you think it might be? Where are you kind of
Distressed
looking?
Are
properties.
Texas, though? Or are you looking for
Texas.
where?
Texas.
Okay,
Texas.
what kind of real estate?
Distressed properties.
But long-term rental, short-term rental?
I want to quit my W-2, so I want cash. So I
You
would
want
like
to create cash flow.
I would
You want
like-
to
yes.
wholesale or flip
Okay.
or
I would
short-term?
like to flip or wholesale things.
Got
that
it.
Oh,
bring
you're
in
going to be
money.
doing short-term deals to create more living income,
Yes,
not long-term holds for smaller
right.
check mailbox
At-
money
at
yet.
First,
You're
for
just
sure.
you want to create a business in real estate.
I do.
Short-term.
I want to live on it.
Okay. You have no companies right now, no entities. You're just
Nothing
coming
now.
out of the gate clean.
I'm a nurse.
Okay, I love
Got
it. A
nothing.
nurse. Oh, that's great. Okay. Well, I've been out. You go ahead. Go first.
Just do a Texas LLC. Done. Okay.
Yeah,
All
okay.
right.
I want to add to that. But I like
let's just start with what you need to worry about.
Yeah.
Okay. Just do a Texas LLC.
a Texas LLC.
And here's what I would do. Don't even do an S election to it or turn it to an SCorp. Just do a Texas LLC. It's going to be flexible. Now, let's say you do one deal. You make $10,000. Cool. It's going to go, actually, you could probably just track that as a short-term capital gain, right? Just do one deal, let's say, okay? Now, let's say you're like, man, Mark, dude, I did 10 deals this year. I made $100,000 after all my expenses. We're like, let's make an S election onto that. Now you're in the business of doing real estate, okay? You didn't just flip a property. This is you personally. We're not even talking about your IRA, right? You're in the business of doing real estate. We might add an S election to that LLC. Now, one thing we're not even going to do yet is Wyoming. What do you need Wyoming for? You're not doing deals in Wyoming. Wyoming's an advanced strategy. Some people sell it way too early for people, okay? I don't use Wyoming LLCs. We do have clients that do it, and we set them up, and there's some purposes for it, but should not be sold to new real estate investors. It's going to overcomplicate it for you.
Yeah,
Texas LLC.
And if
Keep it
you-
easy.
Yep, totally agree. If you give me the latitude, I want to say this quickly because three more questions behind you. But when I come to a conference, a lot of times I'm kind of looking for the divine, the universe, to like that one person that I can share a message with. So I feel really inspired to say this, and that may affect even some of you or something you need to tell a family, friend, or member. And this may not be what you want to hear, but I would say this. You are a nurse. That is freaking awesome. It's incredible. You probably have great benefits. Now, I know you may hate your job, but I would say this. That is an incredible starting point to build a business from, and I would never want you to quit your job. I would love you to go part-time, maintaining. Nurses are so valuable. Girl, you can write your ticket anywhere. Maybe turns to a different type of nursing. But keeping those benefits, keeping stable income, able to pay the bills, it allows you to make better decisions in starting a business. It allows you to not make short-term decisions, because when you're building a business and you've got to live on that business and you have a little bit of success and you're so excited you'd go in and quit, and I'm not saying you would do this, but you'd go maybe get excited and go quit your job. Now you're fully dependent on this business being successful. And the decision making on how that business grows are going to be based on how I pay my rent next month or not, or eating or groceries or whatever. And then you may undermine the benefit, the possibility of that business growing and flourishing, and using that business to build cash flow with rentals. So I would just maybe reevaluate the 3 to 5 year goal of, I can't wait till I can work part-time. And I can convert my nursing into a different type of nursing. And I can use the cash flow, your credit score, that income. Your W-2 is going to be beautiful for a bank. And opening doors for you to make better short-term decisions on building that business and long-term decisions, because you're not fully dependent on that business. So I love what you're doing. I love real estate. I love short-term real estate and using that to build long-term investments. But not being so focused on quitting that, maybe, but using it as a stepping stone. I hope that helps at all.
I'm 61. I'm dying to retire, but I have made a request to go part-time because my credit score is perfect, and I have the income. And
yeah, that income
great
and credit
insurance.
score and stable income is so powerful. It's going to make you a better real estate investor than a 20-year-old something or young 30-something that is doing real estate and that's their only occupation. You're going to have superpower over them because you'll be able to make stronger decisions. And 51, girl, I'm not
61.
retiring until I'm 71. You're not retiring. And you know, the mortality rate of men that retire 6 months later are dead because they have nothing to do. That's not going to be me. I'm too busy. But I think 51 is the new 41. Girl, you got a lot of runway in front of you. And
great.
anyway, all right. Good luck.
Yeah, I'll just say on that, just to little echo that, as we deal with a lot of new business owners, and real estate is a common place where people go, right? And one of the things we see sold is financial freedom. I want financial freedom, and some people jump at it too fast, and they leave their day job behind, keep the day job, work the side hustle until the side hustle can overcome the day job and it turns into your main hustle. And so I think there's a way to get there where you can still have that objective and that goal. It could be real estate or some other business, but just make sure you've got a thought out plan about when you transition over.
Oh my gosh. I would tell her too, wherever she went, is that, oh my gosh, if you're nursing and you're looking to do real estate deals, you start chit-chatting around the office with all those doctors around you, and they see what you're doing, you're going to have access to money. You're going to be able to, like, oh my gosh, you got doctors like, what are you doing? Doctors love to invest and try to find things to do with their money. And you're going to be there, listen, oh my gosh. Leaving nursing could be the worst thing, but bringing it down to a part-time scenario and creating a stable jumping off point would just be so cool. So good luck. Hello.
Thanks for putting on an awesome event.
bet.
Avery from North Carolina. In parallel to learning more about self-directed products, I also started to learn about different life insurance products. And something I'm curious about is there ability to insulate, self-directed accounts the way that you can with some of the life insurance products where the owner of a policy or the beneficiaries can kind of make it so that they're far out of reach from whatever legal process where they may get
Yes.
eroded or split up or anything of that nature?
Yes. All right, great question.
So
All
asset
right.
protection.
Yes, yeah. So, all right, now Mark and I neither of us are like big life insurance fans in terms of investing. We like life insurance for death benefits and covering that cost, family planning, all that type of stuff. That's why we like life insurance. Now, we've shot videos at Mark's Tax and Legal 360. We beat up Roth IRA versus IUL. I shot another video on my YouTube channel, Roth IRA versus IUL, and pros and cons. Now, from an asset protection standpoint, they're the same. Yeah, you have asset protection on certain types of life insurance policies, but your Roth IRA, your traditional IRA, you can file bankruptcy and keep that asset, okay? You can have a lawsuit against you. They can't go collect against that asset. So IRAs, 401ks, retirement accounts in general, have asset protection already built into it. And that's in all the laws. So now there are a few exceptions, of course, which same thing with life insurance, depending on the state. California, shocker, okay? California is one state that said, hey, your IRAs, they're only asset protected up unto the value that it's necessary to cover you and your dependents. Well, that could be millions of dollars of what, really for an IRA to cover you and your dependents. So you've got pretty damn good asset protection in a retirement account. I mean, you could even, there's plenty of famous stories of people that haven't had their retirement accounts collected on despite having judgments against them. So I think the retirement account is an awesome place to put money. We talked about the doctors just a second ago. What else do doctors love besides finding real estate investments? If they get sued, they don't want to have their money taken. Whenever we talk to a doctor, I emphasize asset protection of money in your retirement account. Because they're at risk. People sue doctors all the time. They got to carry a ton of medical malpractice insurance. And so one of the reasons a lot of them pour money into retirement accounts is not just the tax benefits, it's also the asset protection benefits. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. I have nothing to add. Amen. Thanks for the questions, too. I hope I'd love hearing these things. This is good.
Yeah. We could stay here forever, but we won't.
Jared from Fort Worth. So I have hopefully a quick making sure I understood something correctly or how some ideas work together. And then one thing that we haven't touched on. I've been self-employed or in small business my whole life, so never had a matching retirement account, never had a company 401k, so never did it. And now I'm at a point where can't contribute to a Roth, and my thought process with IRAs were, well, it's not I don't get a tax benefit anymore, so why do it?
Boy, so today's a revelation. Keep
And
going.
today, the thoughts came together. So even though, and I'm familiar with discounted rollovers, but if you don't have an IRA and you set one up, even without a tax benefit, you can just convert it, and that's a Roth with an extra step for a high income earner.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And that's it. Yeah.
So let me unpack so far, and then I think there's more you want to ask, so this is good.
Yeah.
So, and if I can add a little bit to your fact pattern. So entrepreneurs, this is classic, very, very common. People that grow up building their own businesses think 401ks have nothing to do with them. It's a Wall Street corporate, perk. And sometimes they're bitter. Like, why don't I get a 401k? I was an entrepreneur. Why couldn't I have one? Well, it really was only in the last 10 to 15 years, or 10 years really, where the solo 401ks became more popular for the small business owner, where they could participate affordably. And so the first thing that hopefully you're realizing today, and I'm going to come zoom
I
in
also
on
have
your
an
Roth.
employee, so that takes that out of for
Well,
my
yeah,
options. But
see,
yes.
okay, see, this is even better. Because the Safe Harbor 401k is a way to have a 401k as a small business owner where the matching is really dramatically minimized and the plans are still very affordable. So Matt and I even sponsor a a Safe Harbor 401k for our employees, and we participate in it 100%, which is pretty powerful. Anyway, so you say, I make too much or I can't participate in a Roth IRA, but now today a little bit more knowledge is I can do a backdoor Roth IRA where, see, in the way you phrased it is so hard. You said, well, there's no tax benefit to doing it. Well, just the fact that you've created a tax-free ATM is incredible. So that's a tax benefit. You define, and I get it, you define tax benefit as tax deduction.
Yes.
I say, I don't want the tax deduction. Holy crap, I want the Roth. The Roth is more valuable to me than the tax deduction. Every day of the week, I would do a Roth before I do a tax deductible 401k or tax deductible IRA. And you can do it at any income level, as you just alluded to, make the non-deductible contribution and then convert to Roth.
That's what I hadn't connected. It's like I wanted the Roth and I didn't think I could get it.
Yeah. And this is why you would want to do a safe harbor, if I may, because you can do $23,500 as Roth on top of the 7. So now you're doing $30,500 and you say, well, yeah, but I've got to provide it to my employee. Dude, you can set up a 3-year cliff that if they quit within 3 years, anything you do for them, you get back. The maximum you would ever contribute is 4%, matching up to 4% of their salary. If they don't participate, you don't have to even do that. 50% of employees don't even play. So your exposure to unlock 30,000 plus in Roth is pretty amazing. Sorry, so I just wanted to throw that out.
And that might actually be an answer to the next question, is because we hadn't touched on SEP IRAs, and so I didn't know if, and that's is Safe Harbor and SEP totally different?
Yes.
Because it sounds like Safe Harbor would be significantly better for me than doing a SEP. And
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That-
I'm
that's-
straight.
okay.
And because a SEP, you still have to include your employees.
Yes.
What's so funny, we have clients come in all the time like, yeah, I can't do a 401k, so I've been doing a SEP and putting away a ton of money. I'm like, and you have employees? Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, you'd rather like the Safe
How many
Harbor.
employees did you have?
One.
Okay, ooh, 1. Okay, all right. Let's go. Let's talk some other options here. I like this.
Say one.
Okay,
What do you mean?
you might be able to get away with the solo K. You got 1 employee. How long have they worked for you?
She's at like a year and a half.
Okay.
Okay, how old is she?
42.
Okay. I was like, maybe she's
Giving
not
you all the
21
way.
yet.
Well, you
okay.
could do a SEP that, when does she hit her 2-year anniversary?
I'd have maybe August.
Okay,
August
all
or
right, there you
something
go.
sounds
See,
about
you
right.
got more options than you
Okay.
think, actually. Okay, let's go with so if you have like 1 employee or 2, a lot of those people still do a solo K because that employee doesn't qualify for the plan until they've worked for you for a year full-time or 3 years part-time, okay? Or let their family, you're still cool, like kids, probably it's like let's say it's an assistant or something. So if they're over a year, you're kind of at that loss on the solo K. The SEP IRA, though, they don't qualify until 3 years. So you get an additional 2. So you could do the SEP IRA for yourself, put in 25% of whatever you're making, self-employed, that's the SEP rule. You don't get 23.5 plus 25%, it's just 25%, but it maxes out at 70K as well. You could play in that for the next 2 years possibly if she's only worked for you for a year. Once she's been there 3 years, she has to be able to participate in the SEP with you if she makes it that long. Maybe you can or move her to 1099.
So you do the SEP for 2 years, and then when the day before he or she hits their 3-year anniversary, you max it out for that year, and then close the plan after they hit their 3-year anniversary, kick it out, and it just rolls into an IRA on top of what you've already been doing. So for the next 2 years, you're still throwing down major money into that Roth. Then and who knows, he or she that's your employee might quit before the 3-year mark, then you can hit reset and start over with the solo. So there's a lot of fun things you could do there.
And let me add on to that, okay? We could riff on this for a long time. This is like jam session for us, you know, okay? Okay, SEPs, you can do Roth contributions now, okay? Roth is a new thing for SEP IRAs. Congress passed it a couple years ago. The IRS has been, dicking around, haven't figured out how to do it yet. But it's like in the tax code, okay? So you can have Roth contributions to a SEP, which, by the way, you would need to do if you're doing the backdoor Roth IRA. Because if you do traditional SEP contributions, you have to convert those to Roth to do the backdoor Roth IRA. Little technical note there. But I think you got a lot of options. And I'll just say on the Safe Harbor 401k, I love where Mark was going there. I take a little different perspective on it. In the sense, I think it's a great employee benefit. If you're trying to grow and build a team and a business, a 401k can create a lot of, your employees want to stay there. They want to be there with you. It's a great benefit. A lot of them need it and expect it. And if this employee is going to work for the next 10 or 20 years, she's going to want it when she's 62.
Yeah, and you
So
can
I
do
think
the
it
math
can
and
help.
find out really what your total exposure is, and it's great for retention and recruiting.
And there's a tax credit for adding a new 401k.
That's right.
If you
You'll get a
have
tax
employees
credit
in
to form it.
you can get up to 5K on a tax credit. There's some other quick little perks. All right. Okay.
Thanks, bud.
He's
Got more
like,
than
he's
you
trying to
bargained for
walk
there.
away. He's like, I got enough,
I know.
guys.
Do a consult. Yeah. Do a consult. Anybody listening that's here or online, do a consult with Kevin Kennedy. He's one of our senior partners, and he knows this backwards and forwards. If I have questions on this, that's who I call in my office, is Kevin Kennedy. He's in our Phoenix office. Get an appointment with him and say, even if you're just paying for an hour, he'll lay out all of your options, and you'll love it.
And he's got a team of attorneys under him, too. He's probably the most busy. See you next time. Stay calm, self-direct on. I don't want everybody to go to
Yeah,
Kevin,
you don't
basically.
have to go, Kevin.
Yeah,
Nope, we'll hook you up.
Alex Zhang, San Francisco. I have a business partner, a trusted business partner, whose father has VA loan eligibility. He uses his father's VA loan eligibility to acquire some properties. Before his father passes away, can he request to capture his father's VA loan eligibility under an RLT so that after he passes away, he can still have access to it?
Yes is the answer.
Okay.
You take advantage of father's wonderful. He's a veteran. We appreciate veterans. We love it. So in our country, we have said, if you go buy a home, you can put less money down, get better interest rates. Let's help you get in a home. The vet is supposed to live in it a year before they can move out and BRR it. And a lot of VAs are doing that. Every other year, they're buying another property.
Right.
And 5 to 10 years later, they got 5 to 10 rentals. So if
Right.
dad is willing, I say, Dad, let's go, let's throw down.
Presumably,
And,
right.
and yeah, the VA loan limits are very generous. And so I would be out there with Dad buying those properties, dropping them into the revocable living trust. Son will be able to inherit them and maintain those mortgages after he passes away. And I think it's a great strategy. So I just love it. Sorry.
Thank you.
Now, his son I was going to say there's some legal, trips up in there, but
Yeah, you're going to.
we'll worry about that
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
Don't
I
you
mean,
worry.
They're just going to go in an LLC. And the VA.
Let me
yeah,
just say
I'm being
this.
very generous with
Okay,
some.
what's the number one red flag that could jack that up? Siblings. In that RLT, if the son is really helping dad to do those properties and pull those transactions off, and it's not thought about in the RLT, and brother that's kind of a dipshit that comes around now, and he thinks he should get 50% of all those properties too. So I just say is make sure that's well documented in the estate plan to make
You
sure.
got that, Alex? That was for you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Siblings.
Sorry,
it.
this is the pessimistic lawyer that's like wah, wah.
Okay, so my name's Elizabeth. I currently live in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, fun.
And my husband and I have been very strategic, what we've been doing to grow our real estate investing portfolio. So he left his W-2 about 3 years ago to go full-time. I, 6 months ago, left my corporate job to join a tech startup. And so I'm currently the COO there. However, right now, because we're going after seed funding, there's no 401k, there's no health benefits yet. So I'm wondering, do I, once we get our funding and we start to put all that in place, join that, have the 401k? Do I go as a fractional COO? Because we're still half in the real estate. I don't have to be there full time. So that I can maybe set up through the self-directed IRA, the solo 401k. What are my different benefits and strategies I need to be thinking through?
Whew. That's a tricky question. There's a lot. That's a dynamic situation.
So he's
A
doing.
lot of factors.
He has an S-Corp,
Yes.
100% you and him, S Corporation,
Yes.
serving as a realtor or contractor.
Real estate
so
investor.
we do short-term rentals. So he is a real estate professional, but we own short-term rentals and a property management company.
Ooh, I like this. Can I throw in some ideas? Or you want to keep
Well, I
fact,
just want to get more
fact-checking?
facts, and then you can
Okay.
respond.
Yeah.
Okay, short-term rentals is not a short-term business.
No,
So those
it's
are
full-time.
those are Schedule E.
Yes.
Okay, LLCs.
Yeah,
What is
and
he
every
doing as S?
property's in a different LLC, so we have all the
Okay.
Wyoming
What is he
stuff,
doing as
all that.
S Corp?
So he's the owner-operator of it.
Okay, S Corp should not own short-term rentals. So again, short-term rentals are over on the investment side. Mm-hmm. What does the S Corp do to make money
Property management
for other people?
for other people.
Not your short-term
That's
rentals.
right.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. So he
Yes.
runs. So the way I would phrase that is, my husband runs a property management company. Okay. In an S-corp.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. Then you have your own short-term rentals, which
So
should
they're
have
assets.
nothing to do with the S-corp.
Yep,
They should-
that's
okay.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
both sides.
All right. And then you are in a startup
Yep.
as a stakeholder and owner?
Yeah, I'm one of the co-founders, so I have a percentage of the shares, and it's an AI startup. And then we're going after seed funding right now. So right now, we're all taking salary based on the revenue that we have, but we have not gotten enough funding to start really ramping and hiring. So we don't have all the infrastructure yet to have the 401k and things like that.
Yeah.
Just like you said, taking a salary, so you're not an LLC, you're a corporation.
We are a corporation,
C or S?
a C Corp.
Which makes
And I'm
sense. If you're a
I'm
tech company doing
currently
AI,
right now
you should
yeah,
do a
I know.
C Corp, do
I'm with you.
QSBS probably.
And you're
Yeah.
taking a salary.
Yeah. Well, your question is really about should I be an employee in that company or should I be self-employed?
Right.
Is really what you're asking. At
Yeah,
the end of
because
the
I
day.
have a consulting shingle. That's how I ended up there.
Okay, so you've
Yeah.
already done consulting and been self-employed.
Yes.
Maybe had your own S corporation.
Yep.
Okay, and done that gig. Here's, I think, the nice thing on your guys' tax return. Your husband's already doing real estate full time.
Yep.
Already has a company. He's already qualifying for real estate professional status. You've got a bunch of short-term rentals. He's got property management. You're a real estate professional on your tax return, right? So those
Which
losses.
you don't need for short-term rentals anyway.
Well, yeah, true. It's easier though. Still
Well, if they're-
easier. So it's going
Do you have employees? You don't have any employees anywhere. Your husband has no employees.
We do have employees.
Oh, okay. All right.
Full-time?
One. Oh, she's a.
1099.
There you go. That's the husband.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
bring him up here. So, okay, hold it. I'm still trying to get this. Do you get a W-2 from anyone?
Right now, no.
Okay, not your husband's S-corp.
No.
Okay, no, you're not an employee if you're getting a 1099. So you're not an
Correct.
employee, but you
Right.
have a third-party, non-family member that is getting a W-2 from your husband's S-corp.
Is that right?
No, it's your partner.
K1.
Oh, a K-1.
Yeah.
He just said they're a partner. They partnered
Yeah.
up with someone else, with their entity and the other person's entity.
So you have a property management company that your husband's S-corp is a 50% owner of.
Yes.
Okay. And
Don't you love it when the husband's also here?
well, yeah,
Yeah.
these facts
good.
matter.
They do,
And these
yeah.
facts matter. Is there an employee of the LLC? There's no employees anywhere, with partners or anyone. There's no employees. Okay, so this LLC, that's a property management company, of which your husband's S-corp owns 50% of it. Okay. And you are getting a 1099 from a C-corp over here,
Yes.
That you're also a shareholder in.
Yes.
but you're also a shareholder.
No one's getting a W-2 there, or are there people getting W-2s?
Nobody's getting a W-2 right now.
This is very startup and messy. Let's just
Yes,
say that.
it is.
Just admit
Yeah.
that.
Okay. All right, so now the question is what?
She wants to know, should I become, they're going to go raise money,
Right.
right? And I thought you were going to ask, can my Roth IRA invest in that? But, which it could possibly, depending on your ownership percentages.
That's a good
Okay.
Okay, so the C-corp's going to raise money.
And you want to know, should I go on as an employee or should I stay a fractional COO and basically be a contractor? I'll
Spot
still
on.
own shares, but they're going to 1099 me.
Right.
And I'm going to be a consultant.
Yep.
That's your question. Yeah.
Why are you asking that question? That's kind of a unique one. Like, why? Which one do you want?
Oh, well, that's a different conversation. Yeah.
Well, it matters. What
I
do you
want to
want?
understand the tax benefits. If
I-
there are any benefits
I think it's
going one way or
I
the other.
think it's negligible because you
Okay.
guys already have business ownership. A
That's-
lot of stuff
that's the answer, then.
write-offs and expenses and deductions you could take, converting some personal expenses to business. And I think a lot of that you're already going to capture in your other businesses.
I don't
be
know.
the
I would
first
take I'd be
thing.
a little more strong, and I think anybody out there, if someone's dumb enough to give you a 1099, take it, because you're always going to get write-offs against that, other than a W-2. Now, unless there's some massive, signing bonus, and there's benefits,
Stock
and there's all
options.
all that bullshit
Yeah.
that comes with the W-2, then maybe take the W-2. But if they're dumb enough, meaning they don't get to choose. You understand? Like,
Yeah, no, I get it.
And,
yeah.
and since you're a shareholder in that, you're complicit in this. You can't say, make me a 1099 because it's better for me.
No,
they
no.
have to do what you really are. You don't get a choice.
Yeah.
So when you say, which one should I be? The answer technically is, you don't get to decide. It's what you do that
Right.
matters. So
So that I fully understand. So my role there would significantly change.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I have that choice.
You could be
and
either
so
one.
so you
It
could,
doesn't matter. Okay.
You could go work all day doing that job, or you could be on the sidelines doing consulting.
so you'd go
Not-
part-time and work less.
Right.
If you're asking a tax question,
That's not a tax, yeah,
That's
that's
not
more
a
a
tax
life
question.
question.
I don't know that it's a big deal. I don't. Mark said if someone's dumb enough to give you a 1099, take it. I don't 100% agree with that. I don't know that it's always better to be 1099.
No, nothing's
Yeah.
always, but
I mean, you're paying both
from a
sides
tax,
of the
if you're in the
self-employment
tax silo,
Yeah.
if you're,
Yeah.
but
So, I don't know where we're going to settle on this, but I think this could be a totally different conversation if you guys didn't already have your own other business. We might be really pushing you strong, go 1099. I just don't know the other dynamics in the business. Is this business going to be significant? Is this going to be the next big AI thing? Are you going to get a greater stake and more stock options if you are full-time in that versus you go fractional? What value are you giving up by choosing that and letting the tax tail wag the dog? Well, how does your position change? Are they going to go get another COO after they went and raised the money because they don't need you anymore because
All
you
the
decide to go
questions that
fractional?
Go through my head at night.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, all this shit should be flying around. To me, the question should be, is this company going to be super valuable? Do I see a real future in here? If I really want to lock myself in, I should go full-time employee, cement my relationship and my stake in that business, make it more meaningful, try to get some stock options out of it, whatever. You're a founder in it anyways.
Right.
You know, that's where I would probably be going. The tax stuff I would worry a lot less about.
yeah,
Okay.
and your Roth should be investing in that C Corp if you really do believe in it. And it
That's
can.
good to know.
You can do that. I don't know your ownership stake, but let's say you're less than 25%.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
then
I would feel good about that. You're going to be buying it, whatever seed investors are investing it. You'll be buying
Right.
at the same share price. We've got lots of clients do that. So even though you're still working there, that could work.
And do you have kids too?
No.
No kids.
No kids.
And I'd also reevaluate you being an owner of his S Corp. I'd want to know the rationale for that. You being a non-owner gives us more tax planning opportunities. And also, but for this ownership, you could do a mega backdoor Roth, and you guys could, I mean, depending on the numbers, put in 150 grand, use that as the seed money in the C Corp too. So I'd consider a solo 401k for that S Corp, put you on salary there for this limited purpose of packing up
Throw
a
some
Roth.
Roth money dollars in there and use that to invest in this thing. If you think it's going to go big.
Might be a quick answer. I'm Ian from New York.
Okay.
Is there a way to,
You're a lawyer. Okay, so this better not be a hard one. So go for it.
is there a way to convert Roth IRA funds to Roth 401k funds?
Ooh, no. We're done. You can go Roth 401k to Roth IRA, but you can't go Roth IRA into Roth 401k. Just think Roth IRA dollars, once they're Roth IRA dollars, they are always Roth IRA dollars. Good question, easy answer. All right, well, thank you everybody for being here. Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Love you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Great Podcast. And we'll be here next week. And thanks for listening.
See you next time. Stay calm, self-direct on.